Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the VCT Challengers. We are witnessing 8 excellent teams that qualified last week in the open qualifiers try to vie their way through to the Challengers finals coming up in a few weeks, putting them one step closer to the Stage 2 Masters event in Iceland. Stokes is with me here on the cast, and we're just about to jump into map number 2 between 100 Thieves and Anbox. Stokes, let's get your expectations for this as we get ready to jump onto Bind.
Oh, super excited for this one. We just saw a pretty fiery ascent that ended up going back and forth when initially we didn't think it would do so. And I think that Bind's going to have a lot more to offer here. It just seems like 100 Thieves a little too dominant when it came down to this map overall. Changing up a lot of their game plans as well. We saw them using the ice wall in a lot of different ways in which we hadn't before. 100 Thieves usually prioritizing that ice wall inside a tree or working their way up through mid to work into market. But we didn't see any of that. Instead, some aggressive boosts and some other cool things coming in.
I think one important note for me was I don't know if Anbox were able to play the match that they wanted to play, specifically to the pacing that they wanted to play there, especially at the beginning of the matchup there when Mata was having a lot of problems making that initial entry, whether it was against Asuna or another member of the 100 Thieves roster on the initial pick there. That did change as we got towards the later portion of the first half, but then fell off again as we got into the second half itself. Really need to see that come back to me personally, and see that aggressive playstyle work its way into this year for Anbox, as unfortunately they're just not looking like they're able to make the amount of impact that they want to make in the early round, and unfortunately that's leading them into situations where they're just being led around a lot by 100 Thieves and forced into plays that 100 Thieves kind of want them to make, so it only serves better into their overall game plan at the end of that as well. Some stats up here you can see exactly what the team versus team matchups look like, or the stats, I should say, how that played out.
Well, at least they got him in headshot percentage. You know, that's what really matters.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what really matters. But
they may not beat them in 3 out of 4 of those categories, but hey, they do take them down to the headshot percentage. So you got that going for you.
Exactly. Well, we'll get the MVPs up on your screen now for you folks. You can see Mata having a heck of a game for Anbox, but it really was the 100 Thieves show overall from everyone on the squad. I mean, there's not a single one of them even near a 1.0 KD. I mean, they're just looking so fantastic across the board.
Yeah, Nitro actually kind of surprising that his KD was that low, but I guess it makes sense when you look at the fact that he was in a lot more of those engagements, because Nitro was the absolute destroyer when it came to things like the opening re-entries they had to make for retakes and things like that. We were seeing so many rounds where he just rolls into a flank angle or even a direct angle out through like the spawn route or something like that on the B site and just tears apart 2 to 3 different players like it's no problem whatsoever. That's an incredibly dangerous element that they're going to have to deal with, even moving on to a different map. Speaking of which, we can take a look at the map pool once again. For those of you who missed map number 1, you can see the score here in a second, as well as where we'll be working ourselves towards for the final 2 maps of this series. Bind coming up now. Icebox will be our 3rd and final map, and for those that missed Ascent, it was a 13-7 win in the favor of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, as you said, Bind and Icebox up next for us, and taking a trip on over to Bind here, this does seem like a slightly more favorable map for 100 Thieves amongst the two, especially obviously taking into consideration that last map and what we saw 100 Thieves do to this squad. I mean, I feel like Bind, especially for 100 Thieves, this is not going to be very scary for them. Just going to be another day in the office. It's really up to Anbox to change things up, but I think the conversation point that you brought up earlier is so important to the story on how this goes. Anbox need to get away from trying to control the pacing and understand that 100 Thieves will wait them out. You can't always just get aggressive and hope that it works.
On the same side of that as well, this is a map where we've already seen them struggle in that department in terms of trying to control specifically the early game, trying to get aggressive and losing 2 to 3 players as a result of that. Misplays such as that were already happening in the previous matchup against Noble, so that's going to leave them in a very delicate position going into this 100 Thieves, as you had mentioning, have to feel very comfortable about their position getting ready to go into this second match, as a lot of the factors, at least in my notes book right now, is looking very 100 Thieves sided. I don't know if you feel any differently, but
not at all. I mean, my notes for most of that was just like Anbox, please, and 100 Thieves, this is crazy, and then Nitro's plays all the time. I mean, like I was talking about inside of the map, Nitro on lurk or Nitro on the re-entry when it came to like the site executes or site retakes, he's just so very dominant, just right place, right time almost every single time, and you don't see that all the time.
Yeah, at the same time, we got a little bit of that. We got a little bit of that out of Mata on the direct front in the previous matchup, but unfortunately haven't been able to see that from some of the other members of the Andbox roster just as of yet here. Seb having a couple of moments where he's able to lurk around and find significant impact, but it was really few and far between for me. So the individual front lacking a lot. The overall team strategy front on Andbox not being in the best department right now either, and that begs the question, what are they going to bring to the table that'll make the difference? And I'm not really sure. They're going to have to answer that question for us when we jump into this map, as 100 Thieves are looking on fire right now. Not even, really needing Asuna to fire off on all cylinders as well. Don't get me wrong. He had his moments, especially in the first half. Those early round plays, the constant swings off of curveballs in the B main, finding that. But as we got later into the match, it seemed to be other players like Steel that were taking over with great holds on the defense from Cat, as well as other players like Hiko making impact in the mid round too. So that's a very dangerous element when you're not relying on that entry player or that duelist to make all of the impact for your team, and you've got everybody firing off on all cylinders and having their own little all-stars moment every once in a while.
Yeah, and that's the scary thing, right? You assume that you rotate away from that area. You no longer want to play into B main. You know Asuna's going to be there. So what do? Well, you're more than likely going to try and swing back towards A with a split push or something like that. But that didn't even work for Andbox because there is just too many pillars to this team, John. So much support across the entire squad. Just some fantastic stuff overall. But now, folks, we're getting into the operator or the agent selection here between 100 Thieves and Andbox for Bind.
It's that other game we work on. We don't need to worry
What's that
about
other thing? Let's not talk about that.
But anyway, moving into the agent select here now. Take a look. Not going to expect too much variance on the 100 Thieves side unless Ethan's really throwing us a curveball here, but doubt that. The pick on Decipher from Steel is somewhat expected. We do see him switch over to that on occasion when the map demands it. Everything else aligning up pretty much as we expect to at this point. Asuna even going back over towards the Raze. Mata will follow in suit with that also. We're going to see the Astra come in, though I am personally a big fan of this agent, and I know lots of other people are as well. Some crazy playmaking capabilities to be brought out from her, especially when combined properly with Mata's character on the Raze. Showstopper, for instance, can have some great usage when combined properly with a gravity well, as we've already seen results from in the qualifier last week.
And it's not even that. It's just that Astra completely changes up how this game works. It's just insanity what she's able to do. I don't think there's a single character like her in any FPS I've ever played ever. Just the amount of, support that she can provide from anywhere on the map. Obviously, we have Omen, right, who can smoke through walls all the way to another site and all these kind of things. But with a character like this, that is just an IGL's dream, and I can't wait to see the innovations that happen with this agent.
Definitely going to be the case here. You'll notice a couple of the other roles shifting slightly as well here. We talked about this in the pregame about how Andbox are slightly more amorphous, if you will. I think that's a good word to use about the way that they play their roles, changing up a bit more flex heavy on their player count here, with some players kind of drifting between certain roles on certain maps here, where obviously you get the exact opposite on 100 Thieves. You pretty much go for relatively the same agent comp on every single map here, with some slight variances whenever they need to bring those onto the table, mainly between Asuna and Steel. But either way, just waiting for these last couple seconds to count down, and then we'll be good to jump into the match itself, which I think is coming up right now, folks. Let's get into it. Let's see if Andbox can fire back, or if potentially 100 Thieves is going to be able to shut this one down in 2-0 fashion.
All right, well, already opening things up. It'll be 100 Thieves on offense and Andbox on defense to start us off here, and it's a stack towards A. Well, at least for Showers right now for 100 Thieves, and specifically Nitro, but it's actually Asuna at the front of the pile. Have a boombot come through, but Asuna will deal with that handedly. Still up to Mata here, trying to back off, using that nade. So far, so good from them. It seems like Andbox, a lot of information as to what 100 Thieves are doing. Mata with a heck of a play to try and get across to U-Haul, and he makes it work, avoiding the wall and avoiding getting locked out in what soon could be a terrible situation. But now it's 100 Thieves who get aggressive onto site. They take down one, and they have the spike plant.
Default plant works its way onto the ground here. The members of Anbox trying to work their way back in. They do have a pinch against the Showers position here, but Nitro going to be able to find another kill before finally more impact is made on Anbox's side. The player that went down for Anbox was the other side of that Showers pinch, so no longer is it going to be strong. Seb, the only kill to come from out from the Anbox roster in a while here, is now going to put himself into a 1v2. There's the tag to bring out Hiko, and it works. He even gets the info on Nitro as well, so going to be able to isolate this into the 1v1. He has the turret to assist on info, but now time's getting low. He needs to get aggressive, swing it up. That's a lot of damage going on to him, but he reverses it anyway. Shuts down Nitro. The only question left is if he has enough time, and I think he might have just enough. It's going to be so close here for Seb, but yes, indeed, he does get it in time. And Anbox, with 0.78 seconds left on that spike, pick up the pistol.
Well, that's a way to start Bind after what we were just witnessing before. Anbox stand up against 100 Thieves after a fantastic plant, able to work their way onto site in excellent fashion, just very explosive. That was really it. After that, though, it was the straight Seb show. I mean, even at 32 HP, still able to clutch things out. That bullet punch just too harsh for Nitro when he did get dinged, so not able to keep that lined up and find that saving bullet. Could have changed that round up for the better if you're 100 Thieves, but now it's 100 Thieves onto Economy. Have to see what they can possibly do here, looking for these frags, and Anbox, to be expected, full Spectre buy.
Aggressive second round investment coming out from them. We've seen 100 Thieves take a lighter touch when it comes to that one, sometimes not fully investing into it, but Anbox are of the opposite camp, saying, nah, we're going to spend all of our money here to really shut you guys down. And so far, that's working out pretty well here. Seb dominating on the inside of Hookah. Boy, similarly coming in for the assist there to take down Hiko to make sure Vice would be able to stay alive, Seb as well in that situation there. Steel will at least get some revenge. He'll take down Mata. He's trying his best to work it here with the pistol, but getting pushed, getting pinched, and unfortunately getting killed. Boy will take him down. Anbox will quickly secure that second round, only losing Mata in the process.
And not too big of a deal there for Anbox. And I mean, they were 100 Thieves able to get a frag, but really, what does that mean in the grand scheme of economies, right? They're going to be able to at least limit someone's possible buy, but let's see exactly what can go on with that. Mata actually going to go for the Sheriff. Everyone else locking in those Spectres still. Just want to stay with that money, make their way up towards those rifles. I've been seeing a lot of different cool buys come in on that second round recently as well. Haven't seen anyone do it just yet inside of this series, but we've been seeing some cool things come in from certain squads, like an Ares coming in every once in a while, or even a rifle with a light armor. But this round now popping off already, as we already have a trade go back and forth. That's Mata for Steel.
Yeah, A-Short takes direct contact between those two players, and they'll trade each other out, both going down out of that scenario there. Nitro and the rest of 100 Thieves, though, ready to move in very, very quickly through the garden route over here at B-Main. They'll walk their way in. Seb, ready for the challenge potentially, but Paranoia is going to completely blind him out. We'll see the Nanoswarm work its way in, taking slight amounts of chip damage there. Won't matter much as he gets himself into the engagement. Is he still able to line up the 1-for-1? Ethan on the repeat, though, finds Ye also. Some more big moves coming out here from 100 Thieves to make sure they're able to assert their dominance. Control that site. Mike gonna go working its way onto the ground here. Vice and Boy trying to aggressively retake, though. That's what I talked about with Anbox. They don't care about the normal rules of engagement. They don't want to wait for the right time. They want to get in the face of the 100 Thieves roster and try to shut them down. Doesn't end up working out, though. 100 Thieves able to easily counter that one and get a very important first round on the board.
Oh, and this is the round right here. Let's see what they can possibly get done. It's going to be full rifles for both squads, but we believe we could have a possible light armor going down onto Vice. We'll have to see exactly what happens with that. Yes, actually, indeed, it is going to be a light armor here for Vice. That's a really, really big deal. Obviously, on Breach, he'll have to buy most of the utility to try and be supportive of his squad, so he'll have to favor that instead, trying to stack up on anything else. If that comes back to bite him later on, but definitely going to want that utility to try and fight these 100 Thieves members.
Mata potentially going to be first up to bat here on the inside of Showers. Takes down the Boombot, and in the process is going to swing right after that. Flash just not hitting him in the way that it needed to, so Mata will be able to work his way forward. The Showstopper as well, and let's try to get a third. Maybe not. Hiko will be able to finally deal with this volley, and at the same time, Steel works his way out through A-Short onto the site. Trying to see the info work its way out here as well, revealing Ye, putting him into a delicate position potentially, but was able to keep himself solid here, hiding behind decent cover. Swing works his way out from Ethan. The Owl Drone's going to reconfirm the position of Ye. Now he's got to be careful. The Hunter Shuri locking him into that corner. There's nothing he can do except bow down to Hiko as he's taken out by that ult. Seb trying to lurk back in here. Really not far behind either. He's waiting back over in the vents, trying to play from there. Seb with the first contact, though, finds the engagement, gets a dink on the Hiko as well, so he'll be low after that engagement. Boy has to try and work his way in, but no, Hiko already has the angle pre-aimed for him, takes him down, gets his 4th kill on the round, and a 2nd overall round in the game.
What a round from both of these teams. 100 Thieves try to force their way inside of A Showers, but it doesn't work in their favor at all. Immediate breach flash through the wall, able to take them down, but immediately after, 100 Thieves, instead of just trying to back off and go for a B rotation or something along those lines, what do? Well, they actually force up short, and it works out in spades. I mean, we see a beautiful shot come through for Ethan. They take full site control and get the spike down whilst also gaining man advantage. That's not something you see every day, especially when a raise pops off like what we saw from Mata. But now, seems like we're back into the action already. The shower contention coming through for both squads.
Nebula down on the ground there, so the members of 100 Thieves not able to do anything about that early aggression from Andbox as they work their way in. I mentioned the recon going on, and obviously Mata took some heat as a result of that, but didn't want to go all the way in through the Nebula. Now we're starting to see pressure from 100 Thieves quickly work its way to the inside of Hookah. Boy, potentially ready for the challenge, but there's a lot of damage going on to him. Tries to pick up a kill before going down, but not going to happen, and 100 Thieves just running over this defensive effort here on the eco from Andbox. Seb, the only player left alive. They're even going to revive Nitro. That gets wasted, though, and Seb even gets himself a 2nd before going down. Ultimately, however, 100 Thieves still control the round. Now take a very important lead here at 3-2.
That's going to be a touch painful here for 100 Thieves. They'll still be able to buy, but Ethan simply eco-resing there, just trying to get Nitro back a gun so they wouldn't have to rebuy at that point in time. And they would have had fat economy if that would have been able to happen. But Seb, just too good in that moment, able to take down both of them. And 100 Thieves not able to assist quickly enough from inside Hookah. But that's going to be that. We're down to rifles once again here, and Andbox have a chance to get around.
Andbox looking to reassert the lead that they got for themselves early on with a pistol win and the follow-up anti-eco going into their favor. Took control there, but unfortunately have lost it since. 100 Thieves winning out ever since they've been able to afford their buys. Boy, trying to hold himself off here at a short. We are going to see the wall work its way up, but he's able to still have himself an angle to work with here due to the fact the wall clips slightly onto that box, and that portion gets taken out as a result here. Light attempt still going down. Boy tries to make a play, but he's countered out. Meanwhile, Fox able to hold their flank here, so either kill the flank watch, open up a flank opportunity for themselves to play back in from A short.
Well, spike down now. EBX needs something to go well for him here, as there has not been a single light at the end of the tunnel. Finally, Seb with something, but it could possibly be a train. Watch yourselves inside of these tight corridors. As we get hit by anything. Finally, we see the Killjoy ult come out, and it's for Andbox here. Defensive one, but Asuna steps up to the plate with a big swing, takes down 2. Showstopper as well. Can it get a 3rd? No, it can't. And I also think that's going to be the defuse for Ye. Going to be close here. Is he able to get it? Locks it out, and .09! .09! That doesn't happen! That's 2 inside of 1 game!
And 2 out of 3 of these rounds won by Andbox were won on a defuse, and both of them had less than 1 second on the clock for the defuse as well. Andbox having some absolutely insane timing here to just barely clutch out these rounds, and for 100 Thieves, some unfortunate misluck trying to win these rounds out there. Andbox battling their way back into it. Some great play from Ye, as well as the rest of the Andbox roster to shut that one back down, get themselves into the match, and battle back here against 100 Thieves, who were looking to take control up until just that last round.
That's got to be a breaker right there for them. Obviously, probably not for 100 Thieves. All of these players have been around the block quite a few times, but that's definitely one of those mental things. Just, come on, man, we can't get one. We've delayed for so long. Just as a show here, well, actually, no, as soon as I say that, already some action inside of the A site, as we have Asuna already inside of heaven, as Andbox try to work their way back in. It's a plant yet again, and they're waiting for the retake.
Andbox trying to play this off site, but the position of Asuna Gonna come back to bite them. In the meantime, Ethan as well catching a surprise kill on Boy, I believe towards Lamps. So Suna having to go back in to check for that. Sandbox actually making quite the effort to work their way back in though, considering all the control that 100 Thieves had leading up to their plant. They're still very much in this, but Ethan, he's a rock here, sitting on the outside of the Lamps, and he can't be stopped. Vice to cause problems here. The fault line working its way in. It'll stun out the player sitting in Lamps. Hiko can't do anything to stop that either. And Ethan, some unfortunate timing as he looks away just as Vice goes for the entry through the door. And this is going to be another close defuse here for Andbox. I'm pretty sure they've got this one this time. There'll be a lot more time left on the clock. 3.7 seconds this time. Much safer. And more importantly, much more in the lead as they actually have it now at 4-3.
Just to show y'all what the difference is between a round where the diffuser goes off at the very last second and something where you have 3 seconds. The average human reaction time is 0.23 seconds. So when you see things with like 0.78 and stuff like that, that's actually just like insane. It's such a close margin to actually exploding. It's practically impossible. But 100 Thieves run it back onto A here. I mean, that's some crazy stuff. They immediately go for the plant again. They go for a very, very similar play, able to get the spike down in the exact same location. But this time around, Andbox don't try to go for the early aggression. Instead, waiting, biding their time, and go for the retake. And it goes off with flying colors. 100 Thieves not able to get the frags early on necessary. And now onto the save round for them. They're able to get one, but Mata immediately refrags.
Great weighted aggression working its way out into the B mid here. The problem is they're being flanked, but I'm not sure if they've caught it just as of yet here. The push already working its way out Garden onto the site. Oh no, here's another problem. Steel making some big impact here. He's going to throw the cage out to allow him to escape and wrap back around. They know the Garden route is clear for the taking. Nitro's already got dark cover down on Hookah, so there's not going to be an immediate retake from Mata and Vice. They have to wait this one out, potentially try to counter flank the players working their way over towards Long out onto the site now. And as well, the only other player they're going to have in this engagement is still way over on A, waiting for a call to jump in the portal. So this is going to be a potentially very one-dimensional retake from Andbox here. And that can cause some serious problems considering they're going to have the dark cover capability. That's going to get re-thrown down. The attempt to hop out of it with blastbacks. We're going to see the Hunter's Fury working its way out here to try and confirm this. But Mata making impact up until he gets behind the box, that is. Finally going down to Ethan. Info working its way out here as well. They're going to be able to act on that, but no. Steel taking down Boy, leaving it all on Vice here. Vice with a great transfer, but unable to take down Ethan. Just too consistent here from him as he prevents what would have been an absolutely incredible clutch. And more importantly, solidifies another tie point for 100 Thieves.
Ooh, that flash point right there was so scary for 100 Thieves. Beautiful, beautiful stuff from Vice, but just cannot get it done. Too many targets inside of that area. And what a round for 100 Thieves right there. Turn the eco into something magical, especially with the ult game coming through. Able to lock down the plant for an even longer period of time, as well as finding those earlier frags to actually get some proper firepower. Steel picking up that rifle and making it work. 100 Thieves really bringing it to Andbox right now, and it seems like Bind is going to be a lot more back and forth.
A lot of some good HL timing here. Should make impact. Suna trying to get to the other side of it, but only ends up splitting him off from Hiko. Hiko's sitting behind a Nebula as well, but that's going to get pulled away here. Mata really chasing Hiko down. You're not getting away, my friend, as Mata picks up the showstopper kill, bringing it down to just 3 here for 100 Thieves. But they make impact. They make their mark known at Garden, and that's going to really pinch Ye, forcing him to stay on the inside of Hookah here. He will get a rotate from Mod, and it doesn't look like the other player that was out at mid for 100 Thieves is going to try and rotate back in and pinch on that. Just going to play in the site here. So 100 Thieves got to be careful. There's already a lot of pressure working its way onto them. 8 shells reignited from Mata there. He's able to fully get a kill this time with it. But Ethan, again, the important player here, still picking up the trade. Steel falls on the site, and now it's all down to Ethan from the elbow here. Diffuse already well in effect from Mata. Third player actually isolated out. Doesn't have a great angle onto elbow here. He's going to pick up the kill, but unfortunately still way too much time wasted on trying to get out in the open. There are way too many unknowns for Ethan to play off of. So the defuse is well taken care of before he even is able to fully swing from elbow.
Very hard round there for 100 Thieves. Didn't have the manpower on site to keep Andbox away. Really have control of the back areas as well, especially over towards Hookah, and that's really what ended up biting them. Got some nice frags early on with Ethan, and he had control of elbow, but that didn't really translate into all too much. But still, great offense there from 100 Thieves, able to get that spike down. So we'll see what they try and set up for this time around, as it's going to be quite a weird round indeed. Steel and Ethan, both with Vandals, but we have a Frenzy, Ghost, and Classic setup for Asuna, Hiko, and Nitro. This could be a pretty crazy one. Ye's popping us off right now, though, so we already have the early engagement, and it's going to go Andbox's way. The second one as well is Boys manning Garden. He takes down one, looking for the second. Ethan swings wide, and that slots in nicely as well. Could have seen the barrel there for just a second. Does he have the read on Nitro? Oh no, such a poor time to Telly, and Nitro tries to work his way out of Garden, but immediately gets caught off guard. Andbox with a very quick round 10.
Box leaving themselves in a good position here. 6-4 overall inside of the half. Definitely making their mark inside of the early round, which was that problem we were talking about back on Ascent that they had been struggling with. They were kind of being forced into the play style that 100 Thieves wanted them to play. This time, they're dictating the pace. They're forcing 100 Thieves into their own game, and it's definitely showing results here. How much so is still going to be the question. We got 2 rounds left. The possibility for Andbox to solidify an 8-4 half still very much alive and in the cards, but 100 Thieves know that as well, and they're not going to be too happy if that's the result. So let's see what they have for the revenge plan on round number 11.
Well, Ye, forward contact. Oh, gets a lot of information on that spike. As soon as picked that up as well when he crossed. And Ye, such a strong position, almost with a quad, but gets a triple instead. Still lights out when it comes to shutting down this push. 100 Thieves now with only Hiko and Asuna, but they're still going to give it a shot. Asuna walks in, he claims Boy's life for his own, and slams this spike down.
Asuna waiting for the contact, and he's potentially going to get it very quickly, but the showstopper denied by the doppelganger. Mata taking him down and leaving it all onto Hiko here in a post plant. 1v3 does have both dark types if he wants to try and play off of that here, but no, he wants the contact instead, and that'll be a mistake. Vice takes him down. Andbox secure a 7th and are now well in the lead for the half, with one opportunity to really push that envelope as the final round of the half is coming up right here.
So 100 Thieves finally running into some problems with the early aggression from Andbox. This time around, it being Ye inside of Sand. And what a play from him. I'm assuming that's exactly what we're going to see here. I mean, this was just read so well by them. Able to...
Realistically, should have got more out of that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Yeah, almost the quad kill there if the spray pattern favored him, but just was not there for him. But still, I mean, it was a nice attempt there from 100 Thieves, but nothing really going their way. A lot of these ults starting to hit their mark, and they just can't seem to find the early info they need on what Andbox is doing.
Oh, Andbox going to keep up the aggression. No need to slow it down, especially when they have these constant nebulas being sent out pretty much immediately at the beginning of every round. They want to try and take that contact on the inside of showers. Asuna and the rest of 100 Thieves are used to this by now, so it's business as usual for them as they'll owl drone their way to the inside of that. Paint Shells is going to hold back the immediate take. At the same time, they're leaving themselves open for a short push here. They're well aware of that, though. Showstopper even out from Mata, but it's going to get sent out. Deals decent damage to Asuna from the looks of things. Fails to kill him, though. In the meantime, Ye, partial rotate from him to get off that Hunter's Fury, trying to punish the pressure working its way out from 100 Thieves onto a short. It'll work. It's going to force 100 Thieves back. Most of their push now being centered on the B take, but even that's going to get scouted early by Steel here, or excuse me, as Steel will get scouted out by Ye. And whether the team's going to react to that or not is still yet to be seen. Only Steel has been spotted, only one player seen, so no call is going to come in until all this utility is used. Might be too late for Ye, but he's still able to go 1-for-1. Problem is, though, we're in an even fight. 100 Thieves have full sight control. Great paranoia timing coming out here as well. That's going to blind out Mata, guaranteeing the kill for Asuna. Trade works its way in. Steel will get rezzed back up here as the chaos is going to continue, and we are still in a 4v4, all things considered here.
All treacherous now, but actually, it seems as though
excuse me, that's the UI.
The cake was a lie. The cake was a lie. That's what happened.
I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense, but... Sorry about that.
Everyone's dying, but they're still alive. What's going on? 100 Thieves, though, able to get the round. I thought you were going to say something, buddy. That's my one big mess up for the day. We'll take it. You're fine, man. You're fine. You know, early days here, John. Early days. I haven't done this before. You've only done this like one time, but we're having a great time nevertheless, and we're having some fantastic series so far to commentate over. I mean, you can't not be happy when you're commentating this kind of matchup between 100 Thieves and Anbox. 7-5 at the split. 100 Thieves not able to get around Anbox on their defensive half. And I honestly have to put this up to the amount of reads that Anbox was able to get on these situations, whether it be through owl drones or just straight up walking at 100 Thieves a handful of times. Now the aggression coming through for Anbox once again, this time on the pistol round, and they're able to make it work. Two big frags inside of Showers.
100 Thieves say, okay, you guys want to play contact to Showers every round? We can do that too. Nitro going directly to the inside here. Taking stance. Now Vice going to be able to sneak up in front of him. That jump will have been heard on the other side. Their flashpoint out, and it works. Do the right click on the jump to be able to seal the deal against Nitro. And also get back control over the spike. The aggressive roster on Anbox here now as well. Not going to commit themselves to the A site, though. You can notice here, Ye has already lurked himself out onto B for free. So just going to call for his teammate to go all the way around. There's currently no info on this for 100 Thieves. So Ye is going to be allowed to go all the way up to the defender route as well, giving him great control over his opponents. And actually, this is interesting. It's evolving a little bit here for 100 Thieves, just considering the fact they have this potential to pinch out. I'm not sure if Anbox realized this is happening to them just as of yet. They're working their way out through short, so they're actually going to leave the site completely and allow for Anbox to take it through the vent and Showers positions and get this site basically for free, because you can see it on the minimap there. 100 Thieves are long gone. They're not turning around. They're still going to be until they realize it right now that they've made the fatal mistake. Ethan hears that, immediately turns tail, and they're going back.
So you want to know how we got here? That's what Ethan's thinking right now. His beautiful fake there by Anbox. I mean, that was really the opportunity they needed to try and get a spike down. You see 100 Thieves already ready for the opposite push, but now the trades ensue. We're down to the 1v1. Steal, the right click, so strong right now, and he also gets the ghost. Very low HP for Vice. A single bullet deals the damage to take him down. Oh, amazing cage here from Steel. That'll block out the flash points. The blast point won't be able to. No, it does! He can't get away from it! Steel, it's too much damage, and Vice wins it from the utility.
The aftershock just barely having the angle onto Steel there. It even looked like he was relatively safe going into the corner. I saw the warning go away for a second, it looked like, but apparently not. Still is able to deal damage to him and take him down. Great usage of the utility from Vice there in order to clutch that one out. Knew he was in a dangerous position after he got himself dinked upon taking contact outside of lamps. Knew it wasn't going to be a good idea to try to take contact again and potentially suffer the same exact fate. So he plays it back, plays off of his utility. Steel, to his credit, does try to do the same exact thing, but is just not able to find a safe corner to avoid that damage and ends up going down.
Those little one-on-one engagements where you see the biggest big brain plays with utility, I swear. Obviously, we have a lot of good combos that happen inside of Valorant, and those are some amazing fun as well, but when you see something like an aftershock kill, that's something that you never see with Breach. I can't even remember the last time that I saw somebody die to that. So now for Anbox, mostly focused on, well, every aspect of the map, as you'd assume, as they're on offense right now, just trying to see currently where 100 Thieves are lying, and the entire squad currently on B as they're trying to force their way out of Garden, and it works. That means they're also going to have a firearm going into the later half of this round. Mata, possible cutoff here. He's able to find Asuna. He's immediately going to vacate the premises. They know the spike's going down on A, and he'd much rather assist his team.
Boy, potentially with a good lineup here against Steel too, but Steel, man, he's been on fire today, and he's going to keep that going. Shutting down Boy on the inside of Showers, keeping 100 Thieves in this retake. You know, the Anbox roster trying to fight aggression with aggression as they wildly swing two of their players out through short to try and take care of that retake. It does not pan out, though. 100 Thieves win the large majority of the fights. Will still keep 3 players alive upon completing the retake and solidifying their 6th round. Thrifty going to be coming out for them as well there.
And not only a thrifty, but a dastardly one at that. 100 Thieves full stack B site, flood out of Garden, frag out one guy in long and then simply steamroll their way back towards A, picking up frags all along the way, getting new guns. I mean, look at this right now. You can see Steel is the only one that actually has a rifle. Everyone is down to pistols and trying to contest these Spectres and other SMGs. This is a very difficult thing for them. So for them to be able to pull off that round is a huge deal for 100 Thieves' future on this defense.
This is that aggression that we were talking about for Anbox, where they throw themselves at their opponent, sometimes to their own deficit, as we just saw in the previous round there. But that's the strategy they sometimes live and sometimes die by as well, as we just saw there. So that is going to more than likely continue over the course of this matchup. Not so much in this round, unfortunately, for Anbox, considering their economy situation here. Just pistols to play off of in this round, so we're going to see a much more aggressive 100 Thieves as a result of that. The swing out through B main, get some control over the orb for themselves. Seth, though, with a nice response on the inside of Showers, to be able to destroy Asuna there, taking him down and keeping us even in a 4v4.
I guess the good news is 100 Thieves have control of the Vandal, and they're going to try and frag out for it, but it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. There's nebulas everywhere, dark cover, it doesn't matter. Anbox cannot close the distance to get close enough to actually have any effect on these 100 Thieves members. Yeah, pretty cool single tap inside of Showers, but it's not going to matter at the end of the day. 100 Thieves just too strong with the weaponry.
100 Thieves only one round away now from tying this back up again at 8-8 and being able to take the lead away from Anbox. Keep in mind, 100 Thieves already has the advantage in this series, up 1-0 from the previous map, a 13-7 win on Ascent. They take this one, it's over. Anbox is heading down to the lower bracket, and 100 Thieves are one step closer here to Challenger's final. A little bit more hesitant this time on some of the initial posturing from the Anbox roster. Ye being very cautious as he swings the long angle and tries to make sure there isn't a push from 100 Thieves to try to take control of the orb, or more importantly, take down these players. Now trying to take control of this themselves. Ye will spot out Steel, knows he's going to be holding inside of the garden position. Steel gets tagged, so he'll re-peek out. But in the meantime, Ethan doing a solid job holding on top of the B-site pipe, taking down the first attempt from Anbox to get control of Hookah.
Is it going to be Fault Line, or are we going with the Rolling Thunder? Yeah, I assume that it is. I mean, my breach play, I'm not trying to say, you know, I'm a breach man or anything like that, but definitely not the case for me, let me tell you. But either way, definitely has that Rolling Thunder, and it's a big threat when it comes to any take ever. Such an amazing ult, but doesn't really matter when you have Steel still shooting like this. That Bulldog's still in hand and as effective as ever. Nitro's gonna ult, seemingly canceling that and staying inside of U-Haul. This is still a perfect setup for 100 Thieves. No real reason to change it up as they continue to take it to Anbox.
Yeah, Nitro just using the ult for info there as far as I can tell, and really leaving Anbox in a position where I don't even think they're going to make an attempt now. This is a long rotate. They might just be trying to... Oh yeah, they're saving from what I can tell here. So this is it. Anbox completely giving up on round 16. That's going to be 100 Thieves having a very, very solid hold, specifically on the B side of the map there, where they were able to shut down multiple pushes from Anbox, whether it be the attempts to work their way up long or even trying to get their way inside of Hookah. All of it shut down by the B team there between Ethan and Steel, doing some great work in order to control that. So 100 Thieves tie us up at 8-8. These two players from Anbox will conserve their weaponry going into the next round, but it's still not going to leave them in a great position, as the other three players will only be able to upgrade over onto Sheriffs.
Yeah, and that's going to leave them really worse for wear when it comes down to it. That last round was supposed to go completely different for Anbox, and it was really the pressure to Garden from 100 Thieves to shut all of that down. I mean, Anbox, they had the opportunity. They actually end up stacking over on B for the obvious execute, and it was all supposed to pop off with Vice sending in that Rolling Thunder, but Mata dies trying to claim space inside of Hookah, and that's exactly why we started to see them back off. They didn't have their main entry there that could actually follow up on that Rolling Thunder. It was just not going to be nearly as effective to just try and save it for a round down the line, or a possible retake if needed. As for 100 Thieves, though, going pretty well, I'd say. I mean, they really haven't had to change up too much. We've seen some pretty cool stacks from them so far throughout this series, but nothing too big just yet to call home about. Just really big multi-frags coming along across the board.
So first half or so of the round going by, relatively uneventful. Actually a pretty passive round, all things considered, to what we've had up until this point in the series here. Steel, of course, ready for the challenge once again at Garden, should we end up seeing this stack from Anbox work its way in towards the B site. they do need to rotate their spike carrier into position as well as one other player. So that's the current explanation for the holdup on the Anbox side of things. Gonna move in pretty soon though. Oh, and this wall couldn't have come at better time. 100 Thieves immediately trying to deny that presence and forcing out at least some of the firepower from his opponents. Look at this play from Steel inside of his own cage to pick up 2 before going down. Great intel going their way as well. Hookah control did work its way into the hands of Anbox, but that's all they got. Seb, the only player alive again, as 100 Thieves completely shut down this take. They're going to take themselves onto a 9th round here.
Well, Anbox get forceful with the earth, or the rolling thunder, excuse me. Doesn't work out for him very well, though. We are going to have a plant here by Seb, so at least get some money off of that, but he can't find the frag onto Nitro. He's already rotated over into A. That's yet another round here for 100 Thieves as they continue to link them together. Also going to give that ult point on over to Hiko as he's now 1 off from that Hunter's Fury. So nice setup from 100 Thieves and really no troublesome rounds so far for them, at least in like the last 3 to 4.
Really the case here. 100 Thieves really controlling the pace of this game, just like they had been doing on Ascent, and that's the dangerous thing. Anbox did have some leverage over this previously, especially looking at the last half, but haven't really seen that transition too well into the attacking side just as of yet here. Ever since we got into that second half, 100 Thieves really starting to take over, came back pretty much immediately, and now has the lead by 1 round over Anbox here, potentially looking to knock them down into the lower bracket if they can close out for just 4 more rounds. Boost up here for Ethan. Obviously, Suna doesn't need that as he'll just pop himself up there, the blast pack, but going to take more aggressive positions this time against the potential short run. Well, that's not where the pressure is going to be coming from. For those of you, of course, who can't already notice it, we got a 3-player stack on the inside of Showers. 2 holding back on short, waiting for notice here, but 8 shells from Asuna going to go in there a little bit too late, but thankfully the cover is there. Trade's going to work themselves all over the place. Ultimately, it's brought down to the wire here. A couple players just left standing. Only 1 left standing here now for 100 Thieves. The pressure's enough. They get their way into the site. And Steel, the only player left standing. If there was going to be someone to come out in the clutch, though, Steel might be the one to do it. He's been having a great match so far, but not to be the case inside of this round. Mata has the position red, takes him out on the inside of the vents before he can even wrap the corner.
Finally, the aggression works out for Anbox. It was a full frontal assault onto A. Not a single player even set up for B. It was always an A take the entire time. They were not going anywhere else. So nice split take from them overall, especially with how they handled Showers. That was the biggest thing for me coming into that round. 100 Thieves had a really nice setup to be able to handle not only Showers, but also short from a pretty cool angle over on the U-Haul truck with the ice wall boost. But again, just did not work out for them. More than likely won't see that one again, at least inside of this round, as it will more than likely be read out by Anbox. But very nicely done by them, and great job on shutting down the retake by 100 Thieves.
Anbox looking to take control over this map. They have to take control over this map here. Switching to a much more passive style for the opening moments of the round seems to have worked, at least for that previous round. So once again, they'll set themselves up for it, try to go for a more all-in sort of take here. Hunter's Fury out from Hiko, and he's got the lineup, but at the same time, there's another Hunter's Fury on the other side. Bit of a laser battle here between the 2 Sovas. And as well, Cosmic Divide working its way in. Suna won't pay any respect to that, goes right past it, works his way forward with the Showstopper and shuts it down, or at least tries to shut down the push. Ultimately, not going to be able to get a lot of damage. Paint shells into the corner too, sees the gun from Mata, and gets a quick execution onto him. As 100 Thieves are continuing to put pressure onto Anbox, force them out before they've even begun their execute.
You should run.
A previous round, 100 Thieves backed off, let off the gas just a touch, but this time fighting fire with fire once again, and it's working out so well for them. Attacker Killjoy down now as Anbox attempt to work their way onto A. They push out of the dark cover. Vice with 2 nice shots and a triple on the round now, but Asuna here to still hold onto his space. Able to get 1, but now seemingly a plant possibility here for Anbox. All down to Ethan here for 100 Thieves inside of this 1 versus 2. He is going to get the res down now, though, so they're going to know his location. Fault line through. Doesn't do too much, though. Will just delay time and allow Vice to make it to plant.
Still rolling thunder ready here for Vice as well, so we could potentially chuck that out. It's going to go right towards Heaven after he hears the noise. Ethan tries to dodge it, but just gets the edge of it. Forced into a corner and shut down by Vice himself. Eco left alone now on the inside of Heaven here, trying to play it off. Vice gets the close angle, but that's a mistake. He exposes himself, and Eco gets the second as well. In the clutch, a 3K on the round. He knows he had to pop off for that one, too. Plenty of time left for this defuse. 100 Thieves going up to 10.
And that right there, folks, is exactly why you res your teammates in those clutch situations. Hiko, dead as a doornail when it came down to what was happening inside of that round until Ethan brings him back from the void, and Hiko makes it worth his while. What a play from him, not only from the Hunter's Fury, but also for the 1v2 clutch. And who better to do it inside of North America?
Absolutely the case here. Anbox, a momentary glimmer of hope a couple rounds back as they're finally able to scavenge another attacking round for themselves. They're first on the half, if memory serves me correctly as well here, but immediately losing that translation. Look at the buy they have going into the 20th round here. It's not looking great. 3 rifles for themselves. Mata at least going to be able to justify a Spectre purchase here too. I think he was on a Bulldog a second ago, and that actually allows them to get that 3rd rifle. But Seb going to be down, only having the Sheriff to play off of here. So we're getting to the desperation point, it seems, for Anbox. They've got to turn the tide soon. Otherwise, we could be looking at 100 Thieves with full control over this series.
Yeah, these last 2 rounds were of the utmost importance to both of these squads and who was going to end up winning this. We saw initially earlier on when we were talking about Vice's Rolling Thunder that once he had used it and it didn't go off too well, weren't able to get the round. They actually got quite a few ults off of that play, but 100 Thieves are already set up for Asuna and Hiko to get theirs, as well as Steel and Ethan already having them. So it was going to be an ult exchange back and forth while trying to vie for economy. It just seemingly did not break in Anbox's favor. Could not get these rounds together, and now we're here. They have to try and save. Steel's going to get some damage off as he starts to pressure down B long. Sells an opportunity in Fountain, takes down Boy, can go for 2, and he'll do so. Might as well hold the door open for him if you're Anbox. Still have an opportunity to claim some lives over on A as well, as it's a feeding frenzy over this offense.
Mata comes in with a momentary trade as he retakes B mid control for his team. Potentially going to be able to swing out here and retake Fountain control into long also, since Ye will be grouping up with him here. Ethan still trying to swing check this though. You can see the little jumps, gets the info he needs. He doesn't need to do that again. Now he can sit back, play to the inside of Garden. He knows the pressure's working its way over to B from at least Ye. And that will draw a cautionary, slow rotate, it seems, from the rest of the team over the next couple moments there. Ethan with a good shutdown against Ye brings it all onto Mata here. He can't get anything done either. Ethan just too solid in this situation. He gets the 11th for 100 Thieves. They're now sitting only 2 rounds away from shutting out this match.
100 Thieves with a perfect read on the economy situation and pressure when it was needed. Boy, even trying to leave the area. It just could not happen. Steel coming up in a big way here for 100 Thieves, and the rest of the squad able to lock things down when it came to that last little push. That ice wall boost from Nitro there, extremely scary as well. What an angle.
Very, very scary indeed here. 100 Thieves sitting in a great position for Handbox. Pretty much the worst it could be right now, if we're going to be honest about ourselves here. They're down on the pistols, forcing into the previous round. They can't justify doing it again here, as it would just continue to get worse and worse and worse. So only going to have the Sheriffs and, in Boy's case, a Ghost to play off of here, going into what ultimately could be the penultimate round here. Things continue to drift into 100 Thieves' court. Ethan still going to be rock solid, sitting up on top of the pipe there. Quickly shuts down Ye. Rest of the team won't even dare to peek that at this point in time, as we're also going to get a slow warp down on the ground to deter the rest of the pace from Anbox here. However, not only playing for B, we do have a bit of a lurk going on from Seb, and he's slightly supported from A short, but in no immediate way, though. Seb will have to be very cautious with any aggression he tries to throw out here, as he's pretty much on his own with regards to the actual fight.
And all of Anbox currently just standing at the gates of 100 Thieves on both sides, just trying to find any of these frags, but 100 Thieves not showing face at all. Do not want to give up these rifles. They'd much rather just have Anbox sit on the timer and wait it out, and you cannot fault them for that at all. But speaking of faults, Breach now here, Flashpoint out, he's dead. Boy soon to follow if he keeps peeking like this. Nitro still ripping him to shreds through the box, and Boy finally falls, as it's all down to Mata for Anbox.
Mata, the big man on campus here, trying to clutch out the 1v5 with just a measly little Sheriff here, trying his best. It's actually a great angle to try and peek it from. He's got the right idea, just can't find the lineup. Never mind. There's the pop-off onto Nitro. Only 8 seconds left here, though. Paint Shell's going down. He's just having himself a bit of a fragging round here now at this point. No way that he can win it, but ultimately still able to pick up some kills as Asuna finally shuts that one down and solidifies the 12th round for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, that round was not going Anbox's way, no which way or how. Even with those 2 frags coming in and grabbing that rifle with the Suna on flank, it's just too many people at too many different angles. And now 100 Thieves, once again, fully in control of the map here on Bind. Anbox need 3 to force us into overtime. And even if they can take this, we still have Icebox on the docket if they actually secure the win here. 100 Thieves on their possible penultimate round. To see what we can possibly do. Let's open things up. Anbox mostly focused on A for the time being. We're all opening our real show right now to have any concern about A as they start to force their way up short. Oh man, Asuna, or excuse me, Mata, all the way out onto the field. It's actually Asuna with the frag, and Asuna with the long-range RPG as well. The showstopper comes out to play, and it's an explosive finish. He goes even farther, paint shells in, deals damage to Seb, and it's Nitro that actually gets taken down as he was simply just manning the angle. Asuna continues to spread through the smoke and finds these frags.
No control over the spike even really to play off of here, sitting right in front of the portal. Seb gets himself out of the corner at least, and all of a sudden we've got a round in front of us with that pick here. We're into a 2v2. 100 Thieves, okay, never mind. Shut it down very quickly. Ethan and Steel immediately trade out the loss of their teammate, take full control of this matchup in 2-0 fashion as 100 Thieves are going to be taking this one, moving them forward into the semifinals of the upper bracket here for the Challengers 1 bracket. Very well played by them. Definitely the expected winner, I think, for most of the folks watching at home. Anbox putting up a much better fight here on the second map on Bind, interestingly enough, which was kind of their worst map in the previous series, but definitely improving the performance there. Just not enough to actually take down 100 Thieves in this series.
Yeah, they were able to make quite a few plays, but it was 100 Thieves that truly were the playmakers if we're going to talk about it. I mean, a lot of those rounds, even rounds where you thought Anbox were going to win, 100 Thieves able to get away with that. Most notably, the Eagle round from 100 Thieves earlier on that they were able to claim with some very, very fantastic play on that offense, able to get some weapons away from Anbox and claim the round. You don't see that every day, so that's some great stuff from them. And what a series overall from 100 Thieves.
Really impressive stuff from them. The consistency that we saw out of some of their individual players was absolutely unmatched in comparison. Steel specifically having himself quite the game today with regards to even sort of aggressive play that we were seeing from him, showing up on all cylinders. And like I mentioned at the end of the first map, he wasn't the only one doing this either. We were seeing other players like Nitro, like Ethan, have really consistent performances inside of the site defense. And as a result of that, led into a relatively one-sided match for a lot of this game. Now, don't get me wrong, there was moments of greatness for Anbox over the course of the series. Specifically, the later portion of the first half on Ascent looked very promising. Unfortunately, it was just too few and far between, too inconsistent, and it never brought itself together long enough for them to be able to close out a map.
And I'm so happy you said that as well, because that's how I feel about Anbox. It was just the inconsistencies that got in their way. They had moments of brilliance, but it just was too few and far between. Another thing to note about them is that previously in their series, Mata was not having the greatest day where the rest of the squad was really stepping up, and today seemed to be opposite day for them. I mean, we had Mata finding a lot of frags for them, but players like Ye, who we saw just take it to Noble, nowhere to be found.
Definitely the case. We can compare the stats between the two teams here as well and see obviously a much closer affair overall on Bind when compared to Ascent, but still very sided in the favor of 100 Thieves. Those headshot percentages still favoring Anbox, though. So they still got that on them, but looking at the individual overall performances here, you can just see it here. 100 Thieves Steel absolutely dominating there with a 1.6 KDA, 256 combat score. I think topping out the team in most respects too, except for KDA there. Combat score definitely leading the way.
Yeah, I actually think that he takes MVP overall for the entire series as well. MVP on the previous map, MVP here. What can't this guy do across Killjoy as well as Cypher? I mean, he's been one of the most dominant people when it comes to Sentinels inside of North America, and really a trendsetter when it comes down to the playstyle.
Definitely something that their next opponents are going to have to be watching out for when they get into their next match in a couple days' time from now. But overall, they're going to be able to make their way through. We can take a look at our head-to-head graphic as well here and see how exactly that matchup panned out. We were looking specifically at Asuna versus Mata. And once again, staying very close on the stats overall here. Asuna definitely winning out the large majority of the situations between those two players, though Mata only really taking over for that second quarter of the match back on Ascent, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the stats show for themselves here. I mean, Mata still having a very big impact. I think the ACS specifically shows that, but you can still see that he wasn't having the greatest time. I mean, Asuna having even more impact in the same amount of deaths. That's a really, really big deal when it comes down to that department of play.
Yeah, definitely the case. Take a look as well at what the rest of our bracket is going to look like here in just a moment, more than likely, and get a good grasp as to how the tournament is progressing. That leaves them in a good situation. Keep in mind, guys, we're no longer in the open bracket. There is a lower bracket to play out now as well. So their opponents here, Anbox, are not going to find themselves eliminated from the run just as of yet, but we are going to see them get knocked down there. As you can see, a 2-0 victory for 100 Thieves. We got an update on our B-Stream game as well. Immortals able to take that 2-0 over Cloud9 Blue. And as a result of that means 100 Thieves are going to be facing off against Immortals in their next matchup.
It's always so confusing for me when somebody's name has your name in it, because it just throws me off. But either way, C9 Blue, a squad that I think surprised a lot of people this time around, showing off some new lineups as well as just a lot of very good play inside of the open bracket. But up against IMT, that's always going to be a very, very difficult one.
Just to clarify, sorry, I misread the bracket there. It's actually 1-1 between those two teams now. So we are going to see that get played out a little bit further.
Okay.
So apologies for that, folks. But either way, still a solid series, and that's going on over on our Nerd Street Gamers 2 channel if you're wanting to go ahead and check that out. Should do it for us for the time being, though, folks. But we've got a second match coming up right around the corner. Stick with us, and there's more Challengers action coming up right after this.
Change of range.
I feel like I need to defend my scene's honor here, because this is just turning into a bit of a dog battle.
Like in groups always look.
I'm cutting you off here. I'm cutting you off. Cutting you off. He said G2's winning it. He said G2's winning it.
We need to wait till the next EU tournament, which could be in about 10 years now.
Take it with like a grain of salt.
No,
but
that's
that
no
being
fun.
said,
Take it super literally.
Spike defused.